Welcome to another episode of Meet the Author Live from New Degree Press. I'm your host, John Saunders. New Degree Press is part of the Manuscripts Enterprise. This is a group that has now published authors on 6 continents and published over 1,500 authors and ranked this past year number 293 on the Inc. 5000 list. This is the fastest growing privately held companies in America. You think you have a book in you or want to start or accelerate a movement in the next 10 to 15 months of your life? Visit creator.institute now. The next cohort is starting this week, and there's still time to join, but we start every 4 months. This is a comprehensive coaching program that will take you from idea to published book. Not just published, but published like a second-time author, which includes audience creation and activation. And we'll hear more about that from our special guest here today. But Meet the Author Live is an opportunity to learn everything there is valuable to know about the author. We're going to get into a lot today, I promise you that. And we can answer your questions live in the chat. So please do drop those in there and drop in comments to Miss Katie Joy Duke. But this is a special episode today because we have a brand new author who published their book just a few weeks ago and has a newly released podcast on the New Degree Press podcast, The Creator Community, which is available now, premiered this morning, wherever you consume podcasts. And there's a video version on YouTube. But Katie is an author, a mindset coach, a mom, and a yogi. She uses her deep understanding of grief and joy to empower people to feel their feelings, distinguish their life purpose, and show up connected to their essence at home, work, and most importantly, in themselves. Katie, amazing to see you bright and early there in Seattle. Thanks for jumping on the show today.
Thank you, John. Great to be here.
Awesome to have you. So how does it feel to have your name on a book on Amazon?
It is truly a dream come true. It's something that I imagined doing a very long time ago when I was in undergrad and had no idea what I would write a book about. So what did I do? I went to law school. And now, plus 20 years later, it's in my hands. It's gorgeous. I love it. It feels like my fourth child. So I'm just really, really proud of it.
That is awesome. And as I said, Katie's book is available wherever you buy books online. I just dropped a link in the chat if you want to go get your copy today. This is the last day to get your copy at Katie's initial promo price of 99 cents on Amazon today. So I see you have 22 5-star reviews. That's pretty good. About one every day since your book has been out. How does it feel to have those out there?
It's incredible. I mean, it's really amazing, especially to read them and to see how the book is impacting others. I had to, because of the subject matter of my book, not dealing with the loss of a child at full term, I had to go back to my why over and over again over the years and think about why I was actually writing this book and who it was for, and to see the lives that it's now touching and the way that people are connecting not only with my story, but also with their own losses and their own grief is really incredible.
I mean, your journey is one like few will ever have. Writing about the loss of a child at birth, right? Writing about struggle. Writing a book is a struggle. Writing about struggle is also, right? Adding on to this. And now, of course, a recent illness that I'm so sorry to report or be aware of, fighting through cancer. Katie, I don't know if I've ever met anyone stronger than you, my friend. You have been through it all, and here you are still running after it. Amazing.
Yeah. I've been through a lot, and it's actually an honor. I think yesterday I had an incredible conversation with someone from the White Ribbon Alliance, which is an organization that I'm partnering with now to speak now on behalf of the world of women who go through loss, either, from stillbirth or, miscarriage and whatnot. And just realizing that I can use my voice, that my God-given talent to want to speak, to want to share, to want to have people listen. It's an extraordinary thing. And I'm just so happy to be able to speak on behalf of others who might not feel comfortable using their voice to bust through the stigma of talking about really hard things, whether that's pregnancy loss or whether that's now me going through chemotherapy and breast cancer and all the, just the challenge of facing hard things in life. It seems to be my gig. So here we are.
I mean, somebody clearly has a bigger calling and mission for you out there in the universe, my friend, because they just keep putting obstacles in front of you. They get bigger and bigger. You keep rising to the
I
moment.
do. I tell you what, I'm leveling up, man.
It's unbelievable. So, I'd love for our listeners here, before we get into the rapid fire questions, just to learn a little bit more about your author journey. Like, how did you even get through this thing, take this idea
Oh
and turn it into a
gosh.
published book? What's the highlight reel from that look like for you?
Ooh, well, I mean, it did take me 6 years. I will say I started writing this book a few months after Poppy died. I mean, and with an intention of saying like, okay, I'm actually going to do this. I remember I put a post out on Facebook, probably February of 2016, which would have been about 4 months after she died. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to write a memoir. And I look back on that now and I'm like, wow. But as a coach and as anyone that has been coached and knows that, like, when you make your intentions public, when you tell someone what your commitment is outside of yourself, then there's really that accountability of like, okay, well, I said I was going to do it. Now I have to do it. And so for 6 years, I committed. There were times when I didn't write for months, but I was always thinking, always envisioning, always imagining. Of course, educating myself, taking courses, joining the Creator Institute, journaling, keeping, when I went on 2 solo writing retreats out to Whidbey Island in 2020 during the pandemic, and where my husband took care of our daughter and our dog and kind of held down the fort at home. And I would print out like 150, 180 pages of what I had already written.
Wow.
And I would just organize and I would delete. This is crap. Nobody needs to see this. It was just stuff for me. Right. And then I would organize and I had a writing program on my computer and I would put everything into chunks. And I just started envisioning, like, how is this thing going to look? I hired a creative writing coach in 2019 and I worked with him for 6 months. Shout out to Jeff Lisowitz. He's an amazing coach. He helped me work through blocks. I mean, it was just a commitment. It was something that I had to and I was constantly kind of thinking, where is this story going? What's the arc? Like, what's the ending? Because I didn't really want it to be I didn't want to just like write some happy ending book, like when our second daughter came into this world, which was amazing and such a blessing. But it was when my father passed away 3 years ago in February of 2019. And I realized how much I had learned about grief and death and dying and our souls and just sort of all of the, like, what happens after that I realized, my daddy passing away is sort of the end of the book. And so he puts a cap on things. And it's a real honor to have included his legacy in my story as well.
Wow. What an unbelievable story arc and journey you've been on, and always learning and growing and getting coaching and assistance along the way, right? From your early coach to joining the creator community and making this book come to life. And another point I'll make that's in this story that I just want to bring to the light, which is you wrote more words than your book needed, right? Sometimes things end up on the cutting room floor, and that's part of the process, right?
Totally.
And I think it's good for people to know that.
Journals filled. I mean, absolutely. A lot got deleted. And then actually that was one of the things that my writing coach, Jeff, really encouraged me to do, was actually delete. Because I was like, it's so much stuff. And I was just like, some of it is so bad. He's like, trust yourself. Trust that if it needs to just be deleted, and obviously, like, I don't know, it might be on a folder somewhere in a Word doc. I don't know. I don't know if I really deleted it or whatnot. I mean, I think I did, or it probably exists somewhere, but it's that stuff that, like, nobody really needed to see. Like, it wasn't any good. I mean, it was like awful. Like, I might've repeated the same sentence 15 times because I couldn't think of the next thing to say. Right. So yeah, definitely don't be afraid to delete. Don't be afraid to just get it out all on the page, because that's what editing is, man. Editing and editing and editing and revising and revising and revising. I mean, I got this book down to less than 50,000 words. And I've probably had now 6 people since I released it tell me that they read it in an entire day.
Wow.
That's it. That to me is just like, yes, like they could not put it down and they got it done. So I think that's pretty great.
I want to read a review from what I think is one of those people that is on Amazon right now, Barbara Metters, who wrote this review just the other day. I bet she read this in one day. Her review is a 5-star review on Amazon. This book is well written. Katie pulls you into her grief journey right from the start. This is a courageous and vulnerable look at the process of grieving the loss of a child. I'm sure this will help others with their grief process. Well done, Katie.
Yeah, that was really cool. Barbara reached out to me over Facebook, found me on Facebook and sent me a message. I found it in my little message requests box, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is so sweet." It was over the Memorial Day weekend, and I asked her because she like, sang my praises, and then I asked her if she would write a review, and she's like, "I already did," and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool."
Barbara, if you're out there, please drop a note in the chat for us. We'd love to see you on the chat here, and anyone else, please do the same. And if you have comments or questions from Katie, please jump in here. So let's keep going with our questions here. What do you think? A few more long form. We'll jump into the rapid fire in a few minutes. But what do you think you learned most about yourself through this journey, Katie, of writing the book?
I guess I'm capable of anything, really. I would guess I would say I'm unstoppable until I take my last breath. I think that that's really what, no matter what, I've changed careers. I've started a business. I became a coach. I let my lawyering career go. I had another child. So I dealt with pregnancy after loss. I've lost a parent. I'm now dealing with cancer. Like, I just, I'm so thankful that I have the fortitude and also the vulnerability to show up in the world and kind of admit what I'm going through. Because I tell you what, John Saunders, I would be nowhere without my community. My community is my bedrock. Thankfully, I have an incredible husband and I've got a great family. But man, my friends and my community, they keep me lifted. I love my people.
That is amazing. And right, this one of the phrases that we love to use around here is never write alone, right? It takes a community. It takes so much support. I know when I wrote my book in 2020, I tried to quit it at least twice, very severely,
Oh
very
yeah,
close to quitting. And it was the community, my friends, the coaching, the editors that pulled me back off the ledge and helped me get through it.
absolutely.
Uh, one of the ideas, or I'd be curious for our listeners to hear, what ideas for your career have you learned from other bereaved mothers and authors through this journey in the NDP community?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've really learned is that everybody does it differently, and that you just gotta go with your own strengths and reach out when you're feeling stuck or when you've hit a block. Reach out and ask others what they learned and how they got through. One of the things that again, I just got to give a shout out to Jeff, my writing coach. But one of the things that he and I talked about, this sort of like big theme, was to embrace the squiggle. And that was sort of a metaphor for having always thought so linearly as a lawyer, being trained like it was just like like issue, rule, analysis, conclusion, like there's a formula, right? Like everything is formulaic. And with writing, I don't know, that kind of doesn't apply. Like there isn't really a formula, whatever works for you. And I would say what's really cool about what I've seen in the bereaved community is that not everyone can write. Like I happen to be a really great writer and I embrace that, right? And some people they're artists in different ways. Like they love to knit little hats and donate them to hospitals, or they're more of a like an Instagrammer where like photography is more of their thing, or they work in small snippets, it's just incredible like how people work differently, or they're in the medical community and they want to influence the medical community. So I think it's just taking what you do and what you love and embracing that. And to quote the great Theodore Roosevelt, comparison is the thief of joy. So when you notice yourself comparing yourself to others, right? And if it's bringing you down, then recognize that energy. Like it just doesn't serve you. Like it isn't about comparing. It's about collaborating. It's about pulling in energy from other people and then using that to lift you up.
Wow. Comparing yourself to others, don't do it, right? Like compare
Try
yourself.
not to.
What's that?
Be inspired, right? Like be inspired by others. But if you're comparing yourself to others and going, I am less than, or I am not good enough, or I could never do that, right? Like notice that inner critic and just say like, what is this doing for me? Like, and if you need help with someone, like I will coach you through that. Like I'm a mindset coach, right? Like this is the stuff that's so important, right? And I really do think that it's really nice to have someone there to partner with you and to pull you out of the muck when you're stuck in it, right? And help reflect your essence, help reflect your strengths, help you distinguish what those are, help you get clear on what you want, because a lot of people, they don't even really know what they want, and they need to actually be coached out of like, hey, I can actually have what I want in this world. Like it's possible.
Turns out that's a thing. So many incredible messages through this story here, Katie Joy Duke. I do want to remind people that they can go out and listen to the long version of your story on the Creator Community Podcast. Katie's episode premiered this morning, so it's out there live right now on YouTube, wherever you get podcasts out there. I just dropped it in the chat. So many great messages, such a powerful story you have. You ready to jump into the rapid fire questions where people can learn everything there is to know about you?
Everything. Let's do
Everything. We're not going to leave anything untouched. What is your favorite sandwich? Something about Princess Bride, I think.
I got to tell you, man. So I have a gluten allergy. So sandwiches aren't really my thing because gluten-free bread is disgusting. But if I can get a good piece of bread and it's a nice MLT, a mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. When the mutton is nice and lean and the tomato is ripe, so perky. I love it.
I'm with you on the gluten thing, gluten-free. Shout out to Char bread. I searched long and
hard.
I
love Char. Char's good.
Right? It's the only one I found that I actually really like that is in the gluten-free space. Favorite color, Katie?
Ooh, favorite color. I really gravitate towards coral. I'm really into that peachy, pinky, coral.
And it shows up on your beautiful cover of your book, which is just above Katie's head there on the page if people can't see it. Yeah. Favorite or most memorable vacation spot?
Oh, it has to be Kauai. That's where Eli and I got engaged. That's where we found out we were pregnant with Poppy, our daughter. And it's such an incredible, tropical, magical, Jurassic Park-y type of island. Love it.
I think they filmed part of the movie there, if I recall correctly.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Speaking of dinosaurs, scariest animal?
Alive, that I'm scared of?
Yeah, exactly.
Scariest animal. Ooh. I'm not a big fan of snakes. I'll say that.
That may be the poor snakes. I think that's the most common response I get to that question on here.
I'm not around a lot of snakes, though. I mean, I live in a place where frequently, we drive home and there's little bunny rabbits, nibbling grass in our front yard. So, it's a very peaceful place where I live. So I'm not around a lot of dangerous animals.
The rabbits haven't attacked you too often.
Oh, they're very
favorite movie?
Oh, The Princess Bride. Gotta be.
So good. My name is Inigo Montoya. Right.
Yeah.
Montoya.
And so I won't ruin this surprise, but when you read my book, The Princess Bride takes a prominent place in my memoir, believe it or not. So I just,
So one of my new favorite wines is from Walla Walla from Gramercy Cellars, and it's called Inigo Montoya. That's the name of the wine.
I gotta get a bottle.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
Favorite smell?
Oh, favorite smell. Okay, so lilac was the first, my brain said lilac. But it can be a little overwhelming at times, I love the smell of pineapple.
Ooh, good one. Have you ever, my wife and I took a cooking class a while ago and did this grilled pineapple on vanilla ice cream dessert thing. OMG, was that amazing?
I'm doing that too.
Wow. Last photo on your phone.
Oh God. This morning oh God, I have this, I wish I had it with me. I've got this, it looks like a superhero mask, but it's it's a gold glitter, sparkly, depuff your eyes mask. And I was wearing it for about 5 minutes this morning because we actually had a thunder and lightning storm and it woke us all up way too early.
Oh.
So I was trying to depuff. And so the last picture was me pretending like I was a superhero, and I sent it to my friend Barbara, who lives in Texas. So it's me in my robe pretending that I'm a superhero with it.
You're making me think of another one of my favorite movies, Nacho Libre, right? I think
it was a Nacho Libre moment.
I love it. Favorite song to sing with or without an audience? Your choice, dealer's choice.
Oh, that's tough. Favorite song to sing with or without an audience. Oh my gosh, John, I sing so much that I wish I could have prepared for this one.
Maybe last one then you can remember. How about that?
I got that. Welcome to my house. Okay,
super bonus prize, because I always try to inspire people to sing and everyone goes, no, but you just dove right in. Dove right in.
I think that's by Florida. Is that who that's by? I don't even know.
Florida.
Was Katie, could you, this morning we were making coffee. He's like, could you stop or at least just figure out what the words are?
I think you and I went to the same singing school. Uh, now this one might even do us better here. Favorite dance move? What have we got one?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I have so many, John. And if this dress wasn't so short, I would definitely stand up and start dressing. I would say like I definitely like the like classic, like, you know,
The
like
sprinkler. Is that the sprinkler?
the sprinkler. But I'm really good at the one where you pull your hand and then you pull your leg back and then you do like
Ooh, I feel like a Budweiser commercial made that famous a few years ago, if I recall correctly.
I'm good at it. I like to bust it out when things get really sexy and then make everyone feel really uncomfortable.
Nothing clears out a dance floor like that move, I would imagine.
Totally.
What is one thing you need to really throw out right now, Katie? What do you think?
One thing I need to what?
To throw out, just put it in the recycling bin, garbage can, whatever.
I mean, the first thing I was going to say is cancer, man. I need to just get rid of this cancer like real fast. That's what I need to throw out.
I hear you. And you're on your way. And man,
I'm smothering it with love. And it's like, huh? I thought this was a war. And I'm like, no. I don't have wars inside my body. I was like, this is a peaceful place and you are not invited. So just go ahead and leave.
The energy I hear from you in our talks every couple of weeks is just mind blowing, knowing what you're going through. You're inspiring. Speaking of inspiring, Katie, what is your most audacious goal for 2022?
Ooh, 2022. Okay. Audacious goal for 2022. Well, it's to finish planning my world tour 2023.
World domination tour. Go ahead.
No. I'm not going to dominate the world. No, I'm going to peacefully like fly from amazing place to amazing. Like the designer of my book lives in Croatia. So like, I'm definitely going to Croatia now. Me and Noemi Bazon are going to lay on a beach and sip some amazing white wine. I have friends in Sweden. I have friends in Italy. But for 2022, I mean, I think, it's just to obviously get through this cancer treatment, to continue to sort of branch out in terms of my purpose and my reach. As I was finishing the book, kind of stepping back into the pregnancy loss world and finding my place there again after having done a lot of healing work over the last 6 years. But now that I'm in this club, the Cancer Club, I am really interested in becoming a voice for all people who have cancer, not just necessarily breast cancer, which is what I have, but helping sort of change the vernacular around the battle and the fight and the war, because we heal when we're in the parasympathetic mode, and that's the rest and digest. And when we're in the sympathetic mode, which is the fight, flight, or freeze, which is this whole like, yeah, like you're a warrior, like go kill it, like, go battle your cancer. We don't heal when we're in the sympathetic nervous, when we're in that mode. So in order to heal, we have to rest. So I am kind of just like digesting like how I am going to help sort of shift that thinking. I don't know where the battle against cancer came from. I'm curious about the etymology of that whole sort of phrase of, but yeah, that's kind of one thing I'm up to. Maybe start my second memoir.
I love it. So maybe another book in you out there. So you just sent out a number of books with your signature in it to your pre-sale folks, right? That must have been super fun. Have you ever asked anyone for their autograph?
Have I ever asked anyone for their autograph? Yes, I think it was Patrick Ewing, the basketball star. He is like 7 foot something. And I was, I think, 14 years old. My sister lived in Charleston, South Carolina at the time. And we saw like this massive, like really tall dude walking down the street. And we were like, I think those are basketball stars. I mean, but it's been a while. But yeah, I think that was the last. I mean, it's been a while since I asked anyone for their autograph.
He was certainly the last guy that took my one of my alma maters to the NCAA championship, if I recall correctly, in the 80s. And then, of course, played for the Knicks for many years. Now he coaches Georgetown, actually.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right? You've got your book there. You've got all these lovely praise quotes. What's one you'd like to share with the audience here today?
I want to share, actually, I just took a screenshot, and that's amazing because I didn't prepare for this, but here it is. So I would like to share a review from Stephanie. Stephanie is someone that I met through my online parent support group. for parents who've been through loss. And she ended up being a beta reader for me. She agreed to give me feedback on my introduction. And when I got her feedback, it was so extraordinary that I was like, would you read my whole book? And she said, yes. So I'll read it. So we go. Still Breathing is the book I wish I could have read 4 years ago when my daughter died shortly after birth. Katie's beautiful and honest writing will comfort readers who have experienced loss and provide hope and encouragement for the future. Katie walks readers through her journey of finding joy, getting pregnant, and then suddenly having to say goodbye to the child and life she dreamed of having. Katie also discusses what life looks like many months and years down the road. What happens to your job after your baby dies? What happens to your relationships? How can you honor and remember your child months and years later? Katie covers it all and doesn't hold back. I especially recommend this book to lost parents, but also to anyone who wants to learn more about grief, love, and reinvention.
Wow. What was the author's name of that quote again?
Her name is Stephanie. She's not an author, but she could. She's a great writer. And
Well, the author of that quote, right?
Sorry, the author of that quote is Stephanie. Yeah, 5-star reviewed on May 24th, 2022. And the book I wish I'd had after my daughter died.
Wow, what a great quote there. Thank you for sharing that, Stephanie. Last couple of questions here, and we'll wrap it up. If anybody else or has questions or comments for Katie, please do drop them in the chat here on whatever channel you're on, LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube.
Yep.
Most unique or memorable moment about your writing journey, Katie?
So for me, I mean, this was thousands and thousands of hours of writing, but what I would say the most memorable and probably the most touching for me are those moments, months into my grieving process where the tears were so abundant that like they created like a layer over my eyes where I actually couldn't see the screen, like where I couldn't like where the tears would just stream down my face, and I had to just trust that my fingers knew where the keys were on my keyboard. When the sadness was so tremendous, that I kept showing up for myself over and over again. And I kept coming back to the keyboard and coming back to the page and honoring the process and trusting that the writing would heal. I think that's probably the most memorable for me.
Wow. As I said, I don't know anyone who has risen to the challenge again and again and again with so many challenges, the biggest in the world to be thrown in front of you. And here you are doing it again. What an incredible story.
Thanks, John.
Let's go to the other side of the page. Best part about the journey for you and being an author. What's been an awesome part about this for you?
It's being seen. Having other people now truly witness what I went through, I think. And, and I just have to acknowledge too, that like, I've been so fortunate to have the community that I have, the support that I have, to have a husband that loves and adores me, to have friends that have shown up 1,000 times, to live in America, to have been born in America, to have the treatment that I got at the hospital, to have been given respect through most of the process, because there's so many people out there who are not respected and live in parts of the world where they're not allowed to talk about it, where the stigma is so great that they don't have that privilege. And I think to be seen and to be heard and to be witnessed and to have people really now reading my story be able to acknowledge and just understand better what I went through personally, but also what so many women as mothers go through, and just to have that little glimpse and to help broaden the scope of empathy that people have available to them, and to just help others open their own hearts and realize, that each of us, all of us go through so many hard things in our life, and we don't have to go through them alone. If we're willing to talk about it, if we're willing to open it up. And of course, it doesn't mean you have to write a book, and it doesn't mean you have to go live on any social media and tell the whole world what you're going through. But, pick up the phone, be honest, tell a friend, talk to your partner about what's really aching inside of your heart. Just don't hold all of this alone. You don't have to. There's someone else out there that really wants to help. And that's how, that's how we get through this, with each other's help.
We don't have to go through these struggles alone, and broaden your scope of how you think about these challenges. What an incredibly powerful message. For those of you who want to learn more about Katie Joy Duke, she has a fantastic Instagram page I'd encourage you to go check out. And her book is available last day today to get it at 99 cents on Amazon.
The ebook, yeah.
Excuse me, the ebook. And
Yeah.
I'd encourage all of you to go out and get 5 copies of it today, right? And think about 5 people in your life who are facing a challenge, who are facing a struggle, and are not sure how to get through it. Katie provides such an incredible roadmap, an authentic and vulnerable roadmap to help you better understand your challenges and know that you can go out and have these conversations with others. Katie, if we could wrap up with your 5 words to describe this incredible journey you've been on, your author journey, how would you describe it?
Expansion, joyful, resilient, gratitude, and life-changing.
Wow. Maybe 5.5 words there, but I'll take it. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful message. Katie, every time I talk to you, I feel like I become a little bit more of a human, and I really appreciate that. It's a powerful story you have, and I always enjoy our chats. Congratulations on getting your book out there. Thank you for being a guest on the show here today. Absolutely. And wish you the best in your continued journey with the book. Any last thoughts for our listeners?
No, I thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Follow your dreams, and please do reach out. Feel free to check out my website if you're interested in coaching one-on-one. I mean, it would be an honor to help support you on your journey. Absolutely incredible.
Katie, thanks again for being here today. I'm your host of the creator community, John Saunders. Tune in later today to see the next episode of Meet the Author, as well as next week, Monday and Wednesday, on the New Degree Press social media channels. Katie, great to see you. Thank you again for listening, everybody. Have a great rest of the week and weekend.